listener, and welcome to Perspectives, a current affairs discussion program on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM, Makudi, Benue State. Today is World Humanitarian Day, a day which is an opportunity to recognize the sacrifices and contributions of humanitarian workers who risk their lives to assist others. It is a day to advocate the safety and security of aid workers and to highlight the importance of humanitarian efforts in alleviating suffering. Across the world is faced by several humanitarian crises and Benue State, with a number of internally displaced persons taking refuge across several camps in the state is also facing a similar situation. And as the UN dedicates this day, August 19, to mark World Humanitarian Day, what is the level of humanitarian crisis Nigeria is facing, and of course Benue, and what are the measures that can be taken to alleviate the humanitarian crisis? What are the challenges humanitarian workers face in the field? We shall try to interrogate some of these issues on today's edition of Perspectives. I've been joined here in the studio by a humanitarian worker who has been implementing humanitarian projects with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. He is a coordinator, Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace, Catholic Diocese of Makudi, Reverend Father Remigius Ihula. Welcome to Perspectives, Father.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Good morning, listeners.
We are also expecting the head Makudi Office, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Hamza Mohammed, who will join us. Once he's here with us in the studio, we'll let you know. We sincerely apologize for starting behind schedule. Please bear with us. Perspectives is an audience participatory program broadcast from now to 11 a.m. If you are joining us for the first time, that is for information for you. The program airs now to 11, and you can participate by 10 o'clock by calling in on 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. Send us an SMS to WhatsApp or a text message to 0912-699-9404. You may log on to our website on www.agateradio.tv.com to listen to us. Also, if you download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store, you can access us, and we are available on all social media platforms. You can find us there, and the program is also streaming on our social media pages. Father, today is World Humanitarian Day. As a humanitarian worker working with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees implementing projects across the state, what does this day mean to you?
Okay, let me first of all once again thank our listeners who have taken the time to listen to us this morning. And again, let me thank you, Nathaniel, for inviting me to come and share my thoughts on this very important day, World Humanitarian Day 2024. The theme for this year's World Humanitarian Day is Act for Humanity. That is the theme that the United Nations has chosen for the World Humanitarian Day. Let me begin by thanking all those who act in this space, the various actors, stakeholders who dedicate their time to humanitarian work. Like you said, I am an implementing partner for the UNHCR, and so I would like to take time to specifically thank them. The UNHCR has done so much for Benue State. Many people don't know, and because I've been with them from inception, I have so much to say about them. So I want to specifically thank them for the tremendous work they have done. You mentioned internally displaced populations that we have in Benue State, but many people don't know that we have internationally displaced persons in Nigeria, and many of them are housed in Benue State. We have a settlement in Ikogen, in Benue State. Before Ikogen, we had built through the UNHCR a settlement in a place called Anyake. It's still in Kwandelo government on the way to Ikogen. And there are thousands of persons who have come from Cameroon since 2017 who are living in our state, being housed by Nigeria, especially by Benue State. So with the UNHCR's work, it's not only limited to covering or giving access or giving assistance to the people who are internally displaced in our state. It's actually, as a matter of fact, the vast majority of the work is covering the people who have been displaced from their own country and are refugees in Nigeria. In this wise, we have UNHCR working in the northeast, they're working in Taraba. I don't know if Taraba is also part of northeast, but they're working in Taraba, working in Benue State. We have settlements in Ogoja, that is Cross River. We have also settlements in Akwa Ibom because I am involved. So I want to thank other actors also, humanitarian actors, but specifically I wanted to mention the UNHCR because they're the people I work directly with, and I know the tremendous work they have done in Nigeria over the years. So you asked me how I feel this day. Personally, I've learned so much working in this space, even though my calling as a priest exposed me to some form of catering for people who are in this sort of situation. It is when I started partnering with the UNHCR that I learned some other things, especially the nitty-gritties of displacement and people who are displaced and what they go through. So I feel, let me say, I don't know how I really don't feel good, because for human beings to be reduced to this kind of situation is really not good. So I don't feel really good. But on the other hand, I feel also a little bit happy because we have dedicated this day to talk about the issues and challenges that displaced people face. And in that regard, then, I will say that I'm happy to be here to share my thoughts and to share the experiences that I've learned over the years working with displaced people.
It's okay. Now, let's dive into how this day came about. Remember, based on according to United Nations, on the 19th of August in 2023, a bomb attack at a hotel in Baghdad killed 22 humanitarian aid workers, including the UN Special Representative of the Secretary General for Iraq. It was 5 years later that the UN will designate 19th of August as World Humanitarian Day, with the Office for Coordination, the United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs and other humanitarian partners coordinating it. Since this day came about, has it really given significance to humanitarian challenges the world over is facing?
The day itself cannot be what gives meaning to what the United Nations wants to do. It is we who are listening, we who interact with these people, who give their lives to working, that should give prominence and should take into account what people go through to try to serve populations that are displaced. So in that wise, I would like to say that it is commendable that the United Nations has decided to designate a day to remember colleagues who are in the field, who go through a lot. I will not call it name, but I interacted with one resident coordinator of the United Nations in Nigeria, and he told me how many times he himself has been kidnapped working for the UN, kidnapped. And so you see, this is apart from the ones that you just mentioned that lost their lives. There are many others who have lost their lives that are in far corners of the world that we may not know. There are also partners of the UN, those who work in partnership with them, like my organization, for instance. There are also partners, implementing partners of the UN who go through a lot. And so it's not just for them, but it is for us who are listening to pay attention to what they go through. We see UN staff they don't think about the many tensions and the many risks that these people have to undergo. Sometimes they come under fire even. Sometimes they are put in situations that if you and I are exposed to on a daily basis, you may quit that kind of work and go away. So it is not just for involves itself with some other actors. There are traditional rulers, there are religious leaders, there are other stakeholders in the place who are key to their work. So when they come to you, please be conscious of the fact that these people are human beings and they go through a lot. So you will have to do your bit to enhance their work instead of putting more challenges, because they face a lot of challenges out there.
Okay, Father, earlier on you mentioned passively the theme for the World Humanitarian Day this year, which is Act for Humanity. Is the world acting for humanity beyond those who are actors in the humanitarian space?
I would say no, because every day you see situations created that will require humanitarian actors to consistently be on the field. When people create wars or situations that will make others run away from their home places, okay, you are forced to think that, oh, these people don't want peace. For instance, I just told you about the refugees that Nigeria is housing who are crossing the border from Cameroon. If there is peace in Cameroon, the humanitarian actors won't be there, because those people will be in their homes peacefully, attending to their own needs. Okay, if we in Benue State don't have cause to run from our homes, and herdsmen invasion, sometimes people say they should be called bandits, and for political correctness, they say they should call them bandits. They say, if you say Fulani herdsmen, you are trying to profile people. And but I asked the question, if thief militia were going about displacing people, how would we call them? So I think that the world is not helping matters. They say act for humanity, and I think this team is consciously brought out so that the world would think about humanity and act to stop the wars that are taking place. Just close your eyes and look at the world and see the many hotspots on earth. I can imagine the resources, not only in money, but in human resources. In the Palestinian territories, in Gaza, I'm sure you have heard the number of humanitarian workers that have been killed. Okay? Sometimes the claim is made that, oh, they were hiding along the Hamas militants and things like that. So there are many hotspots on earth and many unnecessary. I haven't forgot to mention the crisis between Ukraine and Russia and other places that are not prominent, but things are happening. For instance, the Rohingyas are still running away from their territory because they are being driven away by other forces. So there are many spots in the world. In Nigeria also, in Nigeria included, Nigeria also, there are many spots that are not peaceful, that people will have to run and require humanitarian actors to come in and to help in one way or the other to fix things. So I think that the world has not consciously acted to help humanity. We need to take conscious efforts to stop the crisis, to stop the wars, to stop the small wars that are happening so that people can live peacefully, and then we'll be acting for humanity.
All right. Dear listener, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makudi. Today is World Humanitarian Day, and that is our focus. Leading the discussion here in the studio is the coordinator, Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace, a humanitarian arm of the Catholic Diocese of Makudi. Reverend Father Remigius Ihula is with us here in the studio, and we are still expecting the head Makudi office for National Commission for Refugees and Migrants, Hamza Mohammed. He's here to join us. As soon as he's here with us, we'll let you know. In the meantime, the telephone line for messages is already activated in case you want to contribute. You may send a text to 0912 699 9404. 0912 699 9404. And at 10 o'clock, the line for calls will be available for you to call in, which is 0814 335 9292. 0814-335-9292. You may also log on to our website on www.agateradiotv.com to listen to us. Download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store. You can also find us on Radio Garden and on social media platforms. Okay, Father, could you expand more on what can be done to get the word act for humanity? What are those particular actions that the world need to take?
Well, as a Christian, I will refer you to the scriptures. Our Lord Jesus came to bring peace. He's called the Prince of Peace. The visit of the angels to the shepherds who were tending their flock in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 2, they said, peace, glory to God in the highest, and peace on earth to people of goodwill. So Jesus is the Prince of Peace and the King of Peace. So the Christian message has always been that there should be peace amongst people. Sometimes human interactions makes it very difficult for people to live side by side in peace, but for the world to progress and for development to be, you must have the criterion of peace as the first thing. That is why the foundation I heard is called JDPC, Justice, Development, and Peace. We believe that if there is justice, there will be development, and if there is development, there will be peace. So what the world needs to do is to stop this reckless, I call it reckless, this reckless tendencies to, or propensity to wars and fighting. Not all things should be settled by armed conflict. Just because you are powerful does not mean that you should settle things by resorting to fighting. So to that extent, I want to say that the world must make a conscious effort. And by the word, I mean you and I who are listening, and you and I who are sitting in the studio. We cannot expect the concept of the world is not just something that is out there like that. It's the human beings who are in it. So we must make the efforts to begin to accommodate ourselves and to begin to live. It should be very conscious. And maybe in the course of the program, I will expand later. We don't just work in the humanitarian sector to do relief services or to help in the immediate interventions for people who are needing help. For us at the Foundation for Justice, Development, and Peace, another key element of our work, another core element of our work, is the promotion of peace relations between people and between organizations. For instance, we have a project that has been ongoing between the farmers and herders. It's been for years, trying to bring dialogue between farmers and herders in not just in Benue State, but also in Nasarawa State and other parts of Nigeria. This is a project that we're very serious with and that we have consistently pursued. That is why when we speak in the space of the humanitarian sector, we're not just coming from the angle of people who are trying to give relief materials to people who have been displaced and things like that. We're speaking also from the angle of people who have been engaged in asking the questions, why are these people being displaced? And then what can we do in the long term to settle them? So the criterion is peace, and you and I are the ones to ensure that there is peace in the world.
Okay, now let's look at the situation of Nigeria. Insurgency in several parts of Nigeria, armed banditry, and also if you narrow it to Benue State, where we have many persons who have been confined to internally displaced persons camps. What can be done to assuage the spate of these armed conflicts leading to the displacement of people, especially in Nigeria?
The first thing I want to say about this is that, and I want to be careful here because in Nigeria, people easily mistake, we easily conflate people's statements. Why people, most Nigerians don't want to face the truth. When you say the truth, they say, oh, he's trying to speak against my leader. We have created leaders for ourselves. Oh, I am the boy to this person. Oh, this is our turn. So he's trying to speak against us and things like that. So I don't want to talk about the issues of insurgency or how government should tackle all of those things and things like that. I think government has enough experts to give it advice or to give them advice on how to go about those issues. But you touch on something that is within the purview of the area I work.
Yes.
There are millions who are displaced. What is the thing to be done? Very simple. Very simple, Nathaniel. Why are people displaced? If you ask the question, a lot of people who have been working even in the humanitarian space will tell you 10 different things. The first thing that many people are afraid of talking about is who is displacing these people. Okay? Even amongst the people who have been displaced themselves, there are elements who come out and say, oh, it is not what you are saying. These people were killing ourselves. Or this thing is that, this is that. Since when did people since when did people begin to kill themselves, or Idoma people begin to kill themselves and stuff like that? Nobody asks those questions. We must ask why suddenly people are beginning to kill themselves. In this scale that millions are displaced and things like that. And nobody has the courage to ask. And when you have the courage to begin to ask this question, you are tagged as being an enemy and things like that. So we must, the first thing, confront the truth. That is the first thing. Confront the truth. Why are you killing these people? Why are you driving them from their homes? When we have done that, then we'll talk about the second thing. Is it justice? Is it good for a people to remain in these kind of conditions for the years in which these people have remained? So let us ensure that these people go back to their homes. That is the barest minimum of what we can do. We're not even speaking yet of restitution because that discussion must be had. And people who are listening to me, who especially those who are in displaced camps and things like that, that is what is called justice and restitution. If you have reduced a people to these kinds of human degradation, less than human beings, for this long, for this many years, you should restore them to what they were. Otherwise, you have cheated them forever, and it will take generations. And I give examples. For years, we've not had school or medical interventions, steady medical interventions in some of these places. The schools have been closed down for years. There are no hospitals or clinics in those areas. The people have lived in the siege mentality for a long time. You have to heal them. You have to go back and rebuild those schools and things like that. It will take years for the deficit that has been created to be put back or to be made up. So, two things. Let us ask why others are killing others and displacing them from their homes. Secondly, let us ensure that our people go back to their homes and let us grant them justice, restore them to the conditions that they were before. Even if you cannot restore them 100%, there should be some restitution that must be paid them so that they can begin to heal psychologically and begin to come back to what they were.
Okay, now your organization, the FJDP, has been working with UNHCR implementing a project. What peculiar challenges do you encounter working with the IDPs and the challenges they face in some of these internally displaced persons camps?
The IDP challenge has been huge, very huge, and I think in my own opinion, it still is there. First of all, nobody should be, not one person should be allowed to live in that kind of conditions. Have you been to the IDP camps?
A number of times.
Okay.
Father.
Not even animals are kept in conditions like that. Not even animals are kept in those kind of conditions. Okay? We are grateful for the actors who come in here and try to give us one help or the other. But I mean, even in the poverty that our people had, I'm a Catholic priest. I've lived in the most interior of places that you can imagine. I used to live in a place called Abeda, and not even in the Abeda town. I used to live in the interior, in the outstations of those places. Abeda was even the town. Okay?
Yes.
But I've lived in the most backward of places, not in terms of the human beings living there, but in terms of development in this wise. You know what I'm talking about: light, pipe and water, the tarred roads, and things like that. So in my reference to being backward, people should not misconstrue to me that the people are backward. It's not the people. The people are created in the image and likeness of God, like myself, so they cannot be backward. But I mean the places. Just trying to explain. So what I'm saying is that even in the poverty that our people lived in, they had human dignity, and they fed themselves. They could fend for themselves. They could take their children to school through their own hard work. They paid for their medical bills. They were able to marry their wives, fend for their husbands and things like that, even in their poverty. And they could receive you and give you food. They have been reduced to a condition that is unworthy of human beings. They have to beg to eat. When you take food to the IDP camps, you see people scrambling. I've never imagined in my life that I would see a tea man scramble for food, because food was a list of the problems of the tea person. Okay? I grew up in the north. I'm not denigrating the north, but there we knew that people stayed on the streets and begged for food, okay? And like Abani and things like that and stuff like that. It was never in these parts of the world. Now our people have been reduced to doing that. Okay, so the IDPs, first of all, the fact that they have been made to live in those conditions for years is one of the things that I cannot reconcile myself to. And I think I speak for them when I say these things. Okay, some people think that the food is a problem. Okay, many humanitarian actors who come here will tell you, oh, food, shelter, clothing, and things like that. These are issues. But the major issue of these people is that they have a government, but that they have been left in this condition for years. They have been left in this condition for years. Okay? So, for me, it is good news that our governor, the Reverend Father Elia, and those working with him now are insisting that these people must go back. This one must go back. So it's good news to the ears to hear, and we should pray for the governor and those who work with him for the strength for them to not look back and to be determined. The first thing they need to do is to provide security in these areas, because if the people go back and the places are not secured, it is just maybe it is to no avail. So, answering your question in the simple terms, our people should not live in the conditions that they were reduced to live in. In this condition, they live less than human beings. They lack food, so they scramble for food. It's a shame. When I see that, my heart bleeds to death. They scramble for food. They don't have clothing. They don't have soaps to take their bath. If you see the children, you hardly imagine that they are your brothers and sisters. Schools have been closed down. There are no durable medical solutions that are created. Other actors come in and they give first aid, not really something to say that these people have been taken care of medically for a durable time, okay? And most importantly, the psychological trauma they have gone through. There are people who live in flashes of what has happened to them. There are people on the camp who have seen their loved ones slaughtered like chickens, okay, butchered like animals. So they live in constant fear and trauma. And you and I know that the world is talking about mental health now. Even for people who live in mansions, billionaires. Simone Biles, who dominated the Olympics here, the last Olympics in Tokyo, she left because she said she was not thinking well. This is a woman who is a millionaire who lives in mansions and has not seen any of the things that these people have seen. Okay, a month ago I took some Germans who visited our bishop to visit the IDP camps. I'm told that one of them has not recovered because of what he saw. He has not recovered. And guess what? I took him to a better IDP camp. I took them to a better one because they were coming from Abuja and they were tired. So I said, okay, let us pass to one of them that is good. If I had taken him to the ones that are horrible, I wonder what we'll be passing through now. So these are the challenges we see. They don't have water. Okay, they cannot farm for themselves. There are so many needs, such that there are other things that are coming up also. You hear of trafficking, and also the abuse of young girls and women and things like that. You know, it's not just physical abuse, maybe sexual abuse. Okay, if you go there, there are lactating mothers constantly there. So what does that tell you? Maybe they're just having to sleep with people to make ends meet and things like that. So there are many challenges that we encounter as people who work in this space, not from our own ends, but from the ends of the people that we serve.
And meeting these challenges that you encounter, how has it been with your own organization and even donor partners?
Okay, so my organization, because we are the Catholic Church, we have our own programs that we do, regardless of the partnerships that we have. So, for instance, the UNHCR has given us a lot of things that we do for the internally displaced persons and also for the refugees. But since you're talking about internally displaced persons, let us focus on that.
Yes, we'll get to the refugees later on too.
So there are many things that the UNHCR has facilitated that we do for the IDPs. But we also do have our own programs as the Catholic Church's arm, social arm, because the church has a responsibility. Tomorrow, the UNHCR will be gone, but we as a church will be here forever. Forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tomorrow, our people will be gone, will be returned to their communities, and it will be the church that will have to heal them over the years because of the trauma they have seen. Even if they return, these people will still have those challenges for some time because what has happened is what would take a generation, would take a century at the least to heal. You have to give birth to people who will not think about this completely, for them to live outside of the siege that has been created. So the church will still be there. I may not be there, but the church will still be there, and the church will carry on programs with these people that will continue to heal them. So we do have our programs, minus what the donor partners, minus the project that we implement aside the donor partners. And mainly our own programs that we carry out are what fall under the humanitarian intervention team of relief, you know, what Bishop Wilfred Anagbe started, that is called Education in Emergency. So the Education in Emergency seeks to put into schools children of these persons who are displaced and living in camps, who cannot no longer pay for their children's school fees or their world's school fees. Some of them are widows, some of them are single parents, and some of them are orphans and stuff like that. But what the bishop has done is to put these children in the best of schools in Benue State. Okay, so we have students in Mount Carmel. There are over, I think there are over 40 students, or about 50. We have students in Mount Carmel, we have students in Mount St. Gabriel, we have students in Mount St. Michael, we have students in Mount Lassar, and then we have, I think, we have students in the Good Shepherd, Holy Child College. So these are the 5 best schools that you can find around. These are the schools where the best of the best go to in Benue State. Now, the bishop has not stopped there. He has built 2 other schools. There's one that is called Our Lady of Consolation. And then he's building another school currently in Daudu. As a matter of fact, he's also building a health facility in Daudu. It's almost completed, that will be dedicated to these poor people for their health needs. So he has started education in emergency to address a durable need. This is not just relief, because when you put students to school and they finish their secondary school, there will be need to take them to university, and I think the bishop will extend that to the university eventually. There are discussions in those areas, so that these students one day will say, "Oh, I had nobody, but the church came and stood for me, and the church paid my school fees, and today I am this." They are the persons who will tell our story. Then, every year the bishop takes new students. But as I speak to you, we're planning to celebrate the bishop. He's 30 years a priest this year, and he's 10 years also a bishop, the bishop of the Kalidas of Makodi. We're planning to celebrate him and make an appeal to good and well-meaning people who want to fund this education in emergency. Okay, we give out, when the time comes, we give out the what they call it, the scholarship information. Maybe you want to pay for 1 student, maybe you want to pay for 2 students, like that. The bishop's emphasis is not just on the education in the class. We're also looking at entrepreneurship. Okay, so to give people the skills that even on their own they could do 1 or 2 things. If they don't want to continue with formal education, they can then begin to develop their skills and stuff like that. And so that is one area that we as Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace is doing its work with the displaced persons. But like I told you also, we'll have a project ongoing that has been there for some time, that seeks to bring together the herders and the farmers, not just in Benue State, but also in Nasarawa State. Let us discuss, how can we coexist? We don't have to be fighting forever. Okay, you don't have to be coming in and displacing populations because you want to graze. There is enough grass to graze. If it is grazing, really that is the issue. There's grass to graze. You don't have to destroy people's crops. You don't have to kill people and burn their homes and send them away and then cut down the trees. So it makes us think that it's not grazing. It is something else. So, but we must have an avenue to talk. Okay? So we bring a lot of actors together, herders, farmers, Hausa communities, Fulani communities, government people, and many actors, so that we can and discuss this issue and things like that. So these are the areas we think that we're serving the displaced community to try to help in whatever way. Then we also do what we call relief. Like, when people are displaced, they are in strong need of certain things. They don't have food. Food is a major thing. So, and if people don't have food, you can say all the beautiful grammar, they will not hear. So we try to pay emphasis on people giving us food to give these displaced persons. This year alone, we have done 2 food interventions in various camps. The money was got from the Hungry Helps Agency of the Hungarian government. They gave us monies to buy food and give these people. But there are also other interventions that are key that I want to mention here with our other partners For instance, the CRS. CRS is Catholic Relief Services. They give us monies to buy the very vulnerable. You know, amongst people who are vulnerable, there are others who are more vulnerable. You understand that?
Yes.
Because there are conditions that make them more. For instance, children. There are child-headed households because their parents have been killed. Child-headed households, lactating mothers, pregnant women, very old people, then people who live with special needs, that you call them people with disabilities and things like that. So sometimes we target this group because the needs are so huge. You have to do with thousands, so you need to have billions to meet those needs. Sometimes that money is not just there. So when we have some intervention funds, we try to prioritize to see this. So CRS has been very helpful. As I speak to you, they are trying to help us evacuate the toilets in some of the camps that they are filled up, and we'll have to evacuate them so that things like that. So, and not just that, they are trying to see if they can give them some monies to fend for themselves. And so CRS has been very, very helpful coming in, and we're very grateful to them.
Which is to say, the challenges are even far more outweighing than the ones you outlined earlier, because the issue of getting to evacuate the toileting facility speaks of the environmental or the sanitation challenge too.
Exactly.
All right, let's look at the condition of refugees, which your organization also work with the UNHCR along with the refugees, especially we're aware of the ones in Kwande, the Cameroonian refugees. How has their situation been like in terms of their humanitarian state?
Okay, yeah, with the refugees, the situation of leaving your country to come and live in another place is always not very good. You know, nobody will want to do that. For instance, I'm a Benue indigenous. If you were to force me to go and live in Taraba or to live in Nasarawa State, if it is forced, I will not like it. If it is out of my volition, I will consider it more. Even if it is out of your own volition, sometimes you meet a lot of challenges. Okay, I mean, just ask people who have left Nigeria to start living somewhere, and they will tell you what they go through and such like that. So to that end, I always believe that these people are not living in the best of circumstances. Okay, but the UNHCR has done so much for these populations, especially the refugees. Okay, the refugees have been well registered, and there is a system that caters for almost all aspects of what they need. I'm not saying that these needs are enough, these provisions are enough, okay? But they have a community, a settlement that has been built by the UNHCR, better than what we have with the IDPs, I must say. It's far better than what we have with the IDPs. Built by the UNHCR, there is organization for school, their children are put into school. Okay, this is what has not been done with the IDPs. Of course, the number of IDPs far, far outweigh the number of refugees. But the refugees have their children in school. There is a health facility that has been built so that if they need health, they will come to. Okay, they are being connected to economic inclusion so that those of them who want to start businesses can start to sell and stuff like that. Identification, like maybe identity cards and stuff like that. They've also been put into university to study if they want to and things like that. Above all, the UN has done what? Has gone into partnership with organizations that cater for their daily needs in all aspects, health, education. For instance, my organization does protection with them. Okay, so SEMA is there to coordinate them on the camp and things like that. So the situation is a lot better than what we have in the IDP situation. I think the IDP arrangement is what it is because of also the numbers. When you have to deal with a lot of people, sometimes the resources have to be humongous, otherwise you're unable to meet your target. So that would be what I would say about the refugees for now. I, however, want to emphasize that, look, nobody wants to stay um, in a place they don't want to, or that against their wishes. If you were to visit the refugees, when we do World Refugee Day, I think it's on the 20th of June every year, and you hear them sing about their homeland, you weep, because it's a situation that they didn't anticipate. And of course, if you speak to them, many of them will say that they never thought. They started shooting and macheting people down, cutting people down, and then burning our villages and stuff like that. There is nothing that is more painful than to live in this kind of experience.
It's okay. It looks a bit touching, but we speak about it. Why we discuss it on World Humanitarian Day is how to get people to act for humanity, and also government and other implementing partners to see a direction that this can be taken to really address the challenges both at the level of the humanitarian situation with the IDPs and refugees and humanitarian actors. Dear listener, if you are just tuning in, the program is Perspectives. Today is World Humanitarian Day, and that is what we are discussing. Leading the conversation is the coordinator, Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace, Catholic Diocese of Makurdi. It is an organization which is a humanitarian arm of the diocese and has been working in partnership with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees implementing projects. You can call in on 0814-335-9292, 0814-335-9292. The line for SMS and WhatsApp chats is 0912-699-9404. Once you connect with us, we'd like to know your name and where you are calling in from. Then you make your submission. Where Peter, you keep it very brief. You may send us an SMS 0912-699-9404. That line is already activated too. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello. Oh, okay. You are not forthcoming. Please, once you connect with us, move away from your radio set. Sometimes the interference of your radio could also affect our conversation. If you log on to our website on www.agateradio.tv.com, you also listen to us and also follow our social media pages. Hello, good morning. Oh, it's okay. The line is still available, 0814-335-9292, 0814-335-9292. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. So when the rains are down, network instability.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How is work?
Fine, thank you.
It's okay. I'm just joining in the program, and I could believe you are talking about the visitation of the Human Rights Commission at Space Humanitarian Day.
What is your name and where are you calling us from?
My name's Adam Sylvester. Then I'm calling from Makurdi.
Okay, Adam Sylvester. Which part of Makurdi?
Oh, high level precisely.
Okay. Thank you for calling in. We are discussing World Humanitarian Day, which is being marked today.
Okay. Yeah. My contribution will be brief and straightforward. It will be very encouraging. People tend to look at human beings in the same capacity they see themselves. And then, of course, many persons on this earth are given the ability to be more than other persons, not for themselves alone, but to help assist others. I know others have been doing this, but I wish to encourage others who are well privileged and placed in the society to always endeavor to look at others in the same capacity and give a aiding hand anytime they can to help keep the society checked and in a godly way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam Sylvester. Thank you for calling in. Okay. Be sure of what we are discussing before you call in anyway. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Okay, the line is still available. 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Morning to you.
I greet everybody. I greet Mr. Nathaniel.
Yes, we
I
greet you
greet
too.
the
Kindly move
Reverend
away
Father.
from your radio set.
Oh, okay.
May we know your name and where you're calling from? Okay, I meant move away from your radio set and not to disconnect the call. But anyway, please, once you are calling in, move away from
Hello.
your radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Nat.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
It's the voice of Mark Anwangin, the father from Sierra Gologogo.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Thank you so much. As we mark this day as a humanitarian day, I think.
Hello, Mark. You are really close to your radio set. Could you move away
I
from it?
tuned it down automatically. Sir. Thank you. I'm sorry for the human living. I think we are doing it the way things will be usefully and happily in our living. So we rather need to be clear whatever we want to play to make it to be usefully and happily. And all that we do, we need to be doing it the way we can achieve our goal. I think it won't be easy for someone to be displaced in his or her home, as we are discussing in the studio. So I think based on country arrangements, those the indigenous people of some various countries that are living in other countries, I think we know that there was a cause that made them to be living in other countries. But I think the various countries need to sit up to checkmate to know the condition of their people living in other countries. And those countries that other indigenous are living there, they should treat them equal to the main indigenous of the country, because we have the right to live and we have the right to redress. So it's just a matter of advice to both the countries that some other people are living in there as refugees, to make sure that they treat them equally, because human beings are one. If you see when you are feeling good and somebody is not feeling good, you know that he or she has a challenge. And comparing a human being, maybe you can be privileged and I will be less privileged. So I think the privileged people should extend their hand, their support to the less privileged, so that at the end of the day, they will overcome their challenges. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. All right, privileged people should extend their support to complement the work of humanitarian workers. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Okay, the line is open. 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. But before we engage with more people, let's talk briefly in terms of the efforts of people who are not directly under any organization like UNHCR, individual persons. To what extent has there been any response to their complementing humanitarian efforts of you workers in the sector?
Yes, many individuals contribute either resources or their time and their expertise to this endeavor. So it is not just the UN that is there. There are other international NGOs that are not related to the UN also who are coming. I just mentioned for you Miserio. Miserio is international. It has nothing to do with the UN. I mentioned to you again Catholic Relief Services, CRS. It is these are all NGOs, international NGOs of the Catholic Church. Then Caritas Internationalis, they're not related to the UN like that, but they also work in the humanitarian in one way or the other. By and large, also for us, the Catholic Church, like I did mention when we ask people to give us items, many contribute. They give us clothing, they give us cooking utensils, they give us sometimes in some places food items also. So we must also acknowledge these individuals because it is a sacrifice that they're doing that must be acknowledged. I like the comment that the caller made to ask us to contribute to help out. It should touch our conscience that we live in this kind of situation. And I bet you there are people who have never been to the IDP camps. They've never been to, even though the IDPs have lived here with us for many years now. I'm not saying that you are obligated to go, but in conscience, you should see how your brothers have been reduced to. Tomorrow it may be you. Nobody knows. We're praying that the situation changes and that the governor and his people working with him, and those of us, even because me too, I'm involved, those of us working with him should help him and support him to help our brothers to return back so that they can pick up their life.
It's okay. That's what we pray for. We do not wish that other people should also find themselves in this similar situation. Hello, good morning. Hello. Really unfortunate what the network is doing to us today, but we'll continue to make the line available. Many people, 0814-335-9292. We will continue to make the attempt. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Nathaniel. Good morning to the Reverend Father.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. My contract layout.
Okay. Go ahead,
Yes.
Michael.
Yeah. I want to suggest this that the humanitarian organizations should also see into these people that they partner with to see how they can fight against this crisis that leads to these people being displaced, rather than seeing how they always want to get assistance from these people. Because I think it is the chaos that leads to the people being displaced.
Yeah.
So if that is looked into, I believe it will mitigate the situation and help us to be better. Because I've not really heard where they said international bodies came to fight against these things that these headsmen, the Boko Harams, and all that. So I'm not saying that is not correct or it's not helping the society. It is. Humanitarian services is very important, but they should look at
Hello, Michael.
and see how they can help fight this, stop this issue of people displacing people.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you.
Very good contribution.
All right. So it should just go to the extent of getting the sources of this conflict
Yes,
ended.
Nathaniel, I think when we started, I told you also that we have...
Just a moment, Father.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello, good morning. All right, please continue your thoughts.
Okay, I told you that we have, apart from doing the relief contributions that we do, we have the durable solutions, which I told you, Miserio, the agency from Germany, is sponsoring our dialogue with the herdsmen and other actors in this space to look at how we can come together and stop the killings and stop the destruction so that people can live side by side. So that is one area that the Catholic Church has looked at and insists that these discussions must be pursued and stuff like that. But I agree with him that it should be there should be an international organization of actors coming together to say, oh, let us stop this from happening so that people don't have to be running away from their countries and from their own villages and stuff like that. There is an organization that comes into Benue State that I'm part of. It's called Center for Humanitarian Dialogue. It tries to do this, but it is just a drop in the ocean. So we need more bodies, international and local, to always come together and say, look, enough is enough. We don't want displacement. We must find ways to live together. If if cattle are taking your cattle around to graze is causing a problem, what other ways can we suggest to you that will not do this thing? But sometimes people are intransigent. They may eat Kautahore or be eating Makaban or whatever. We're all in Nigeria. We know what they say. Once they suggest that people should ranch, they bring all sorts of excuses and things like that. But the suggestion the friend made is very apt and is a way to go.
It's okay. Good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. Okay. The line is open 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. Okay. Send us, if you are not able to get through to us via that line, simply send us an SMS. It will also serve. And also follow our social media pages. Drop your comments on the link. We may take them as your contribution. Good morning. Okay. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
You're welcome. My name is Ibayima Akura, individual president from Banku Matiagbo local government.
All right, good to have you join us, Ibayima.
Thank you, sir. My regards to Reverend Gentleman in the studio with you there.
Thank you, Ibayima.
You're welcome, sir. I want to thank you, Reverend Father, so much for the wonderful work that you are doing to serve humanity and the agency that you are partnering with.
Thank you.
I thank you so much simply because it is a hazardous work that you are doing, putting your life into danger to save another life, to look upon their present condition and plan for their future in order to dig good season tomorrow and turning down their situation that they are into. It's a very wonderful work.
Thank you.
You deserve commendation for that.
Thank you.
May God guide you.
Amen.
And with the partner that you are partnering with.
Amen.
And I want you to collaborate, synergize with the government so that the government of the day may look for your condition in terms of providing security to you so that you will do the work efficiently, the one that you're supposed to do without fearing any fear or favor in that regard. And I am appealing to those that are harboring these displaced people or refugees. Let them cooperate with them, look after their needs, so that they may find succor. They may see a side of relief without thinking deep about their condition that they are into. That is my contribution, and may God help you to do the work efficiently. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Ibayima, thank you very much for your kind words. 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Okay. We are still available to respond to you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Yes. My name is Jude Pebe. I'm calling from Bakume, Way East.
Okay, good to have you join us, Jude.
Thank you, Nathan. Good morning, Reverend Father.
Good morning, Jude.
Thank you. I appreciate your analysis on the radio this morning.
Thank you.
I don't have much to say. If we human beings can tolerate and do away with hate speeches, profiling other ethnic groups above others, I think we will have less challenges of humanitarian issues here in Nigeria. And I want to also advise the federal government to please promulgate laws banning open grazing in Nigeria as a whole. because most of the humanitarian issues we are having today, it happens as a result of the farmer header crisis. So that is my take. Thank you.
All right, Jude, thank you very much for your take. You are entitled to your opinion, otherwise to state that most of the crises are linked to that. But that's okay. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. 0814-335-9292. 0814-335-9292. If you're not able to get through, send us an SMS to 0912-699-9404. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
My name is Sunday Ochiu, aka the young old man calling from Tenerife.
Okay, Sunday Ochiu, go ahead.
I greet the Reverend gentleman at the studio there, and I thank him for all he's doing to make sure he alleviates the problems of the poor people, mostly in the IDP camp. And my take is that yes, federal government are trying and other individuals, but they said Nigeria, we are like Oliver Twins. We ask for more. As the Reverend Father is struggling, the Reverend Father earlier, the governor of Benue State, His Excellency, as he is trying to relocate those people to their ancestral home, I am appealing to individual, mostly our elites from Benue State that are in the government now, to collaborate with him and also fight to assist these people at the IDP camp. We are hearing about building houses for them. Thank God our own is the person in charge of Ministry of Housing now. I am appealing to him to focus his satellite.
Who is that? Is there any of you mean by our own a Benue person being in charge of Ministry of Housing?
There's one of our own that is a federal mortgage.
Okay. So it's not Ministry of Housing, but that's okay. We'll conclude your thoughts.
Yes, okay. I want him also to join hands so that the federal government will focus on this project that we have started. We are hearing it, but we never know whether they have started it. And also to collaborate with international bodies, as somebody has just said. They say prophet has no honor in his house. If an international body come to assist us in this security, when you see that somebody is a foreigner, it comes, the local people always fear them, even by hearing them. As you can see, there was a time they kidnapped somebody, and within 24 hours, the USA, American people came and then fished that person immediately from Nigeria, and they left. So I also urge federal government to collaborate with international bodies so that they will come and assist us, so that all these problems, crisis, herdsmen, Boko Haram, all that things that are bringing problem to us. The food insecurity that we're having now is because of this problem of herdsmen, kidnappers, and Boko Haram. Many people cannot go to farm to go and plant crops for us to harvest and eat.
Okay.
So we have to treat security first.
All right.
When we treat insecurity, then we will now get the way of moving IDP back to their ancestral home.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your contribution. Let's take some messages beginning from our live stream feed on Facebook. Daniel Atai says, on humanitarian crisis, The government cannot curb it because 90% of what led to humanitarian crisis were government deliberate inactions. I would like to give it to the missionary workers, particularly the Catholic mission. They are the best in curbing and nipping humanitarian crisis in the bud. If any government is sincere in acting proportionally to curbing human problems like IDPs, humanitarian problems like IDPs, let such governments partner with the church. And I mean the Catholic Church, because all of us benefited in many ways from the church while growing up. I attended Roman Catholic Primary Mission School, benefited from Catholic justice system, precisely the JDPC at 350 Murtala Mohammed Way, Yaba, Lagos. I also contributed my energy in working for the organization because of what it stands for. Mind you, I'm not a Catholic by faith, but was born into the Catholic faith, and I think is the best in terms of humanitarian services. There is no way government can handle any forms of humanitarian crisis due to lots of factors which are not more than politics, tribe, ethnicity, religion, etc. that has led the government to have jettisoned humanity. Thanks a lot for this program. Daniel Tai, thanks for your comment. Agagbi Peter says, good morning, presenter. I wish all of us should be humanitarian. Humanitarians, okay, fine. Help one another when the need arises. I am from Boko. Agagbi Peter, thank you very much. Of course, Father did said it here earlier that all of us have stakes, so not just wishing that you said it alone, you should act and think like a humanitarian, like you are, or the way you want it to be, so that we can save society from the humanitarian crisis it is experiencing. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to Perspectives.
Okay, my name is Yorapo Timothy.
Okay.
Monitoring officer with the Benue State Teaching Service. And indeed, I'm coming from my office.
Okay.
I want to congratulate the Nigerians on the Day of Humanitarian set aside for the celebration. Also wish to commend my brother, Father Benito Secura, in the house. And other, yes, my contribution is, whenever we are talking about humanitarian services, attention is focused on IDP and maybe those affected by floods and the rest. But there are people in the villages, not known at all, and the kind of suffering they are undergoing is very wonderful. And some of us will take that challenge and we take up on that area. So I wish such tools to become online so that we may get why I'm talking to, I'm one of them. And even Father has been to his office severally to present such issues, and he gave assistance in some areas he promised. I have not fulfilled, but I'm here to get back to him. So unlike mine in particular, I'm concerned about those old people that have aged and cannot go to the farm. They are suffering about food, health issues, and have no children and nobody to take care of them. Also, old women that have no children or they have no husband and the rest. So, in any state in particular, I think permit me to recognize some groups that are also in that. I'm talking of Lady Teresa KSJI. Her own, she has a home for the aged. These are people that have nobody to take care of them, feed them. They are taking that challenge. I also have a TV.
Anyway, your rapport, Timothy, we may not allow you a long list of individual acknowledgement, but your thought is made. If you can conclude.
Yes, to round it up, I want to say we take it up as a private, or can I say personally, we said we too we should provide the we should be giving that assistance. And I want to appeal to Benue people to not be looking at us that we are using this opportunity to either enrich ourselves or for ourselves. We know that we want to do it, and just it's a matter of passion. So I want to seek that collaboration from Benue people and those concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Timothy.
Yeah, can I say something?
Very well, Father.
Okay. First of all, let me thank Timothy for the work that he's doing. I think that he has brought an aspect of care and need that we should talk about, not within the context of humanitarian work, but within the context of inclusion, social inclusion, or economic inclusion for people who are aged and poor who are living in their homes. When we're talking about humanitarian intervention, usually the reference is made to people who have been displaced and people who are suffering some certain aspects of lack as a result of one factor or another. Factor could be natural or it could be man-made. But what he's referring to is falls under the purview of care for people who are poor, who need some inclusion that is not, that does not necessarily fall within the ambit of humanitarian intervention. So his intervention can be directed to the government directly to say, government, please, we have people in these areas who are poor, who have become old, who cannot fend for themselves. Can you include in your social interaction or economic policies, can you include these people so that this aspect of the population can be served? So I think he has made a very good contribution, but he needs to direct it to the right place, not within the ambit of humanitarian intervention.
All right, so Timothy, I hope that's noted. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Yes, my name is Ezra Lupe Daniel. I'm calling from Modern Market area.
All right. Go ahead, Ezra. We're listening to you.
Yes. I think I really want to appreciate the program this morning. But my opinion on this issue is the Catholic, especially the essence of Christianity was to bring peace in the society. And you find out that in the society today, there is nowhere you don't see church, especially the Catholic. So they have a very big role to play. So my advice is they should not focus on the reactive aspect, just like the security structure of our nation. They should go down and focus on the prevention. Let's prevent it from happening. Now it is as if the attention has been gone to the people who are in IDP, but there are still areas that are vulnerable to displacement, even as we speak. So they should focus more on preventing that these other people from displacing, because there are reasons why these people have been displaced. So if we don't look at them, we are rather treating the symptoms.
Hello, Ezra.
Yes.
You want that to be the work of the humanitarian workers?
Yes, the Catholic themselves, the church itself. I'm not talking about the Catholic per se, but the church itself is a non-governmental organization. They are from the society. They represent the society. So I think they are the most, it is their members that are even suffering from this act.
What we are yet to understand clearly is how you want the church to be in the vanguard of preventing what taking the approach you just suggested. You want the church to be in the vanguard of preventing the attacks. In what specific ways? Like that?
No, there are programs that we initiate in their churches across the world that will be speaking to the society, because the church is the only place where people come around every week to listen from leaders. The traditional rulers, the government doesn't have some platform where ordinary people will come and sit and listen and hear from them. It is only the church that has that platform with the structure.
Ezra, I think we should let you understand that we are not speaking about the church here in generic sense. We are talking about the humanitarian work of the church, what the Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi is doing as it concerns World Humanitarian Day. So if you take it on a broader level, the way you are taking, maybe you are taking it outside of our focus anyway.
No, I appreciate their work, but I said they need to do more. It's not enough until we get it right.
It's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ezra. Thank you.
Yeah.
But it should be understood clearly that it's not just the work of the church in a general sense. We have a focus of what we are talking about. So, all the same, we appreciate your concern. Good morning.
Hello?
You may do well to move away from your radio set.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you and the Reverend Father there at the studio.
Who would like to know your name and then where you are calling from before you go ahead?
Yes, thank you. I am Mr. Austin Ame from George's Quarters, Makwidi.
Okay.
Thanks for the concern on humanitarian affairs. The last caller was trying to let you people understand that the church or whatever organization could go further than treating the symptoms of humanitarian crisis. We have something like sponsoring a bill to the National Assembly so that this anti-open grazing law that have caused internally displaced persons in Benue State and across Nigeria could come to an end. The church could sponsor a bill like that. It's not a crime. They have the right. It's a way in which the church can do better and more than treating the symptoms. What they are doing is quite good, and we love that. And let me tell you that as they are doing that, the herdsmen continue to unleash terror on our society, on our people. And the number of IDPs continue to enlarge. They can do more. Remember that our constitution gives knowledge and acceptance to laws from conventions, from associations, and the rest of that. They could pick such discussions and suggestions from organizations, from conventions, and from meetings.
Okay,
and make them up.
Austin, so are you suggesting that, like I mentioned earlier, we're not speaking about the church in a general sense here, but you have brought it up again. Are you suggesting that the church is not doing all of this in terms of its engagement concerning some of what you are stating?
I said they are doing, but we are yet to hear that they sponsor a bill maybe to the National Assembly to say anti-open grazing law.
It's okay.
Should be.
Okay,
please, try to conclude.
Can I
conclude anyway, Austin.
Can I say something to both?
Let you conclude. Okay. Austin, you may conclude your thoughts, please.
Okay. Thank you so much. So it's good that they are doing all of that. And but we should also know that until something is done towards the herdsmen unleashing terror on our people, the case of internally displaced persons is far from getting over. Thank you so much.
All right, Austin, thank you. So,
okay,
Father,
I wanted to say something briefly to Austin and the other caller who called earlier. Two of them seem to be saying the same thing. Let me remind them that the church is not a building. The church is the people who make up the building. So for them to say, oh, the church should do this, the church should do that, I'm wondering what church they're talking about. They should come forward and sit together and write that bill, and we'll take it together to where it is supposed to be taken to. The anti-open grazing law that was enacted in Benue State under Governor Otom was the product of the Catholic Church. Let us remind everybody about that. The Catholic Church was the people, the Catholic Church wrote that bill and sponsored it and insisted that it should be passed. So that is one area. The other area they're talking about, it looks like they have been listening, but
anyway,
let me just conclude.
Just a moment, Father. Let's not appropriate it. Oftentimes that bill, it is often stated that it is a bill of Benue people.
No. What I mean is, of course, the church is in Benue.
Oh yes.
So what I meant was where the brainchild. So it is actually Benue Benue's bill.
It's a Benue law.
But it was a brainchild of the church. So what? But it looks like they've been listening, but they've not been listening very well, because I did say that the church has a dialogue program that has brought a lot of stakeholders, especially the cattle breeders and the local farmers, so that we'll talk about issues that are prompting attacks and stuff like that, and see how we can coexist and things like that. It is our own effort that we think can expand and can be sponsored even at the international level and things like that. So at the international level, the church has also engaged in a lot of diplomacy and other conventions to try to see that will bring the problem of displacement to the attention of the international community. So we are doing a lot. It's just that we don't want to come out and begin to sing our praises. What we are doing is that they should silently work, so that our main concern is that the killing should stop and that people should go back to their homes to pick up their lives.
All right, but we should also put it in proper perspective here, that we are not speaking about the church in general sense, right, which is why we brought a priest who is the coordinator, Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace, a humanitarian arm of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi. And maybe if we should leave it at the broad level of the church, the former governor, like you mentioned, who saw to the passage of that bill, which has now become a law, a people's law for the state, he himself is a product of the church. He's a Christian. You may not necessarily consider him as a Catholic, but he brought the bill and the people accepted it. The church also keyed into it. So it has been so stakeholders.
They who are saying it at the church. So those calling at the church, so go ahead.
Don't take us away from our focus anyway.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, please.
Thank you for joining us.
This is Mr. Benjamin Egege, calling from Yagba North Bank.
Okay, good to have you, Benjamin.
First and foremost, I want to say bravo to the Catholic community in their efforts over this humanitarian issue. I said they should keep on and strive further. Secondly, this issue of people being displaced is no longer news in Nigeria, in Benue State in particular. Even right in our homes, we are looked upon as refugees. Go back to the rural areas, people cannot move from there. Their houses have been demolished, burnt, and people killed. They have no place to go. They are remaining there, sleeping under the rain and under the sun. They cannot come to the town, even in township here. In urban areas, we cannot sleep with our two eyes closed. I only want to beg, even though government have been doing their best. If government wants insecurity to stop, it can do that in a twinkle of an eye. Government should enforce more agents to ensure that this insecurity is controlled. Even when government try to provide palliatives, the government agents divert these things for their own use, putting people, inflicting injuries and pains on people. So I want to thank you for bringing this program. Government should do more. Thank you. God bless your day.
Thank you very much, Benjamin. Government should do more. All right. We appreciate your contribution. Let's take a few more messages before we come back. Good morning, Mr. Nathaniel, our guest in the studio. If there is peace in the world, there will be less need for humanitarian workers. So let there be peace, no fighting, no killings, no hatred. But let there be love, because love is the only thing we need for peace to reign in the world. Vincent Akov from Wadata. Vincent, thank you very much for your message. World Humanitarian Day, how far is it in Benue State? How far is it in Benue State IDPs now? Benue State is one of the states where marauding herdsmen have displaced people completely from their ancestral homes. Even at the IDP camps, they are still displaced. Now, could you see now how politicians and politics fail our people because talk is cheap? Could this happen under the watch of any sincere government administration? Just like our education system, the missionary schools were the best, but government took them and killed our education. Same way they are killing almost all institutions, including humanity. It is time to partner with the missions, particularly the Catholic mission in this state, to eradicate the situation of IDPs in our state. It's unbecoming. I don't mind being part of this. I even wonder how politicians sleep in their homes when their subjects are under weather with security threats. I'm Engineer Dana Tai, watching from FCT Abuja on your Facebook feed. Okay, Dana Tai, thank you for your message. Too much of killing in your message. I was afraid that you are going to kill our program. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
This is Edamau Khan. You see, Nat, good morning.
Morning to you.
I'm calling from high level, and I greet the Reverend Father in the studio. I congratulate the Catholic Church for all the efforts she's made, and all other Christians and all Nigerians generally. My perspective is that I know that man, right from the Garden of Eden, we saw the case of Cain and Abel. Once a human being knows that he has him to seek to suppress and sometimes seek to exterminate. Because every time man is always considering that the other one is a threat, whether it's clear or not. As soon as he suspects, he begins to arrange. So another perspective that I have always thought about, it may look so painful, but when somebody is stronger than you, you do your best to try to find ways around to survive. Those of us who are in these more vulnerable groups of Nigeria, for example, Benue, is it not possible that we, just like we have built modern markets and all kinds of traders are there, and in fact, most of our residential areas now have been taken over by traders. Couldn't we try building ranches so that when these people come, we tell them, okay, enter here. Let your cow be here. We will charge you for some grass. We will bring grass and charge you so that you can rent these ranches. I think that may show them that we are trying to live a peace with them, because after all, no matter what we say, we can see they are long from here to the Mediterranean Sea. We were here. Traders are banking us this way. All manner of things, so we do our best to provide for them to do what they are also doing, so that they will agree. Because every time I think about it, we have markets for trade all over, and these people, when they are coming with their own cows too, they agree that when you are doing business, you do it but they seem to feel that we say, okay, we are better friends with these ones and we don't like them.
Thank you very much. We as much as possible, let's stay on the subject, which is the word humanitarian. They are not just any other thing outside of the focus, please.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning to you.
Yes. My regards to the guest in the studio, the Reverend Father.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes. This is Vincent Ako calling from Wadata.
All right, Vincent, we read your message and you are calling again. Okay. Is there anything new you want to tell us?
Yes. I want to say that if there is peace in the world, there will be no need for any humanitarian worker. Or let me just say, when you try to ask some people that why are they fighting, or they should tell you why they are fighting, they will tag you as their enemy and you become their next target. So I want to kind of thank all the humanitarian workers for jeopardizing their life in order for peace to reign in the world. Yes, I really thank them for jeopardizing their lives in trying to bring peace to the world. And then let me quickly say that it is not only the Catholic that is saddled with the responsibility of bringing peace in terms of our Christian denomination. I want to say that for those that are saying that the Catholics have not done enough.
Thank you so much. Like I mentioned, this is not about just church. It's not. We involve this gentleman who is here in the studio with us because he is working in that area. It's not about church or any other thing. So please please and please, we will not accept such remarks. Good morning. Hello. Okay, Father.
Yeah.
Just a moment, I'll be back shortly. All right. Listening to the reactions of people, our callers in general, what do you make of their understanding of the humanitarian challenge on our hands?
Yes, I think the first thing I have to say is that I'm very happy that people are interested in this topic. And you could see that you are trying to manage the callings, the calls that are coming in, and the messages that have been sent to you. I'm very happy that we're celebrating World Humanitarian Day, and the invitation for people to act for humanity is being heard. So even though there are those who clearly have deviated from the mean of the discussion, I would like to remind them that the discussion here is to focus on the humanitarian space, the people who are in the IDP camps and the refugees who are in their various communities. Let us make them the focus. Let us think about them. What are the things that they need? What are the challenges they go through? And then what are the challenges and issues that those actors who serve these people face, like myself? This is why you have brought me into the studio to talk. So these are the main things that are the focus of discussion. So I'm happy that people are reacting this way, and it is my hope that after this program, many people will begin to think that, oh, what can I do to be a humanitarian actor, to help the humanitarian work that goes around. This would be my hope, and this would be my prayer, that many people will begin to think about what humanitarian actors go through and the challenges they face. In fact, when you asked me when we started initially, there is some aspect I didn't mention to you that that are taken for granted. When we go to host communities to do intervention, sometimes the community itself becomes a problem. This is why the GCR is called Global Compact for Refugees. It's a program that was designed by the UNHCR to think about how humanitarian interventions are conducted, and it calls on humanitarian actors to factor into their work the fact that the communities they work also could be needing help because of the rate of poverty in the land. When the communities where people are taking refuge could also be in need of serious help. So sometimes when, for instance, you go to Daudu, or you go to Bajimba, or you go to Agagbe, or you go to Naka to give food, many of the people you find in the IDP camps are not even IDPs, because they too are in need of something, and they have come to get that. So while we think about these communities that we serve that are taking refuge in some communities, we should think also of those hosting them, because sometimes the scramble for resources becomes a huge issue. Let me give you a very simple example that can better illustrate what I'm talking about.
Just give the example and then your concluding thoughts, because the time is no longer there.
Water, for instance, is a huge issue in these territories around Goma, down to Gwe West, and even some parts of Gwe East. So when you go to drill a borehole for IDPs, you can be sure that it is not just the IDPs that will make use of that, because the host communities themselves don't have potable water, and they will be in need of this water. So these are some of the issues that humanitarian actors face. So when they go for interventions, they have to face the local community. Sometimes the chief in that place is asking for things that he shouldn't be asking, or is making demands that he shouldn't be making. So the humanitarian actors have to face up with a lot, not just thinking about the people that to serve, but also the hosting communities and the needs of those communities.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm calling from Makodi.
What's your name?
My name is Donald.
Donald who, please, and which part of Makodi are you calling from?
All right. I'm calling for, I'm Urkumakesai. I'm Donald Isaac.
Okay, Donald, you are our
Yes,
last caller on the program. Speak to us just 30 seconds if you can.
All right.
Okay, Donald just want us to hear his name. Father, our time is up. Give your concluding thoughts.
Okay, so Nathaniel, let me thank you, and let me also continue to thank all those who put their lives on the line to work in this space on this day that the United Nations has asked us to think about humanity. Let us think about them and the work that they do. I would like to repeat that our desire would be that there should be peace, and we should have very little of situations that lead to humanitarian needs and requiring humanitarian actors to go and work. When we have less of wars and fightings and destructions, we will then live in peace, and every person will fend for themselves, and we can then be helping ourselves the way we are required to help ourselves naturally. But now that this has come upon us, let us see, for those who are listening, let us see in whatever way that you can help. If you can help the humanitarian space to better serve our brothers and sisters who are in least conditions, please do that. And for those of us who are already in this space, I'm pledging on behalf of all of us that we'll double our efforts, we'll even triple our efforts to see that we do the good things that we're supposed to do for our brothers and sisters who have found themselves in this situation. And I thank you for inviting me.
Reverend Father Remigius Ihura is a coordinator, Foundation for Justice, Development and Peace, a humanitarian arm of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi that has been working, implementing projects and interventions in partnership with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Father, thank you very much for coming on Perspectives.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
Unfortunately, we could not have our second guest join us, but Father was able to do justice to the subject matter. World Humanitarian Day. Think about humanity and act for the interest of humanity. That is the theme and slogan for the World Humanitarian Day this year, and we hope you will join in the efforts to give a meaning to humanity, especially those who are in vulnerable and displaced situations. My name is Nathaniel Nangu. I'll join you on Wednesday for another edition of Perspectives. Have yourself a great week ahead. Goodbye, and please, happy World Humanitarian Day.